There's been some tournament drama in Marvel Rivals, you may have seen it already, that really highlights the entitlement of OTPs, or one-trick ponies. I'll link his video down below so you can see it all for yourself. It's over an hour long. Basically, to sum it up, there was a $40,000 cash tournament for Marvel Rivals, sponsored by NetEase, and from what I understand, there was a draft, and Kingsman, the main protagonist, we'll call him, was drafted onto a team along with a few other content creators. He went in this with the mentality of wanting to win, and if you want to win, you have to build a certain composition, because when you get into high elo, when you get into tournaments, it is way different than even GM with how hard and how much you have to strategize. So he's trying to build a certain composition, and you have one person that just refuses to switch off of Black Widow. He's trying to plead with his team, he's trying to compromise, he's trying to explain himself, and he's not being an asshole about any of this. He's trying to explain in a very nice way that they are going to lose if they go in with it, and then they're getting annoyed with him because they're here for vibes. They don't care about winning. But he does. It's $40,000. Even that 40,000 divided by 8 people, I don't know how many people are on a single team and how that money's going to get split up, but say you get like $4,000, that's still a lot of money. That is over a month's salary for a lot of people. To be fair, he was arguing with 2 e-girls, so he was never going to win them in the first place, no matter how right he was. He even tries to compromise and say, all right, we'll build a comp around the Black Widow, even though that does not work. That is not ideal in this situation when you're going up against teams that are going hard meta, because guess what? The teams want to win. And the Black Widow isn't even good in the first place. She's going 2-1, and then her teammates saying, oh, look, Widow's popping off. Widow is not popping off going 2-1. And then I believe at one point she was 0-5, while the Magic, the person Kingsman was playing, was going like 34-5 and got MVP 3 games in a row during their scrims. And they have the audacity to call him a meta slave for wanting to win, which just blows my mind, especially when you're in a tournament for $40,000. Anyway, to make a long story short, he eventually gets kicked out of the team. The team ends up going 1-8, I believe, just as he predicted, and now we're at where we're at right now. If you want to see the full video, I'll link it down below. It's over an hour long, but it truly just highlights and reminds me of how problematic OTPs are. Everybody wants to play their favorite character, and I completely understand that, right? I want to play my favorite characters too, but there's some times where it just does not work and you have to switch if you want to win. If you're in quick play, it's whatever. Play whoever you want, right? People have no right to get mad at you for playing who you want in quick play. It's quick play at the end of the day. It's not competitive. But when you get into competitive, things kind of change. Up into Diamond, you could probably get away with whoever you want to play, right? Unless some character is absolutely awful, you could one-trick your way up to Diamond. But once you get into Masters, you get into GM, you get up to that kind of level, then you kind of have to play meta. You have to play around your team, and you have to communicate. Because how is it fair to the other 4 or 5 people on your team that they all have to play around you because you refuse to switch? That's not fair to them. And I'm talking in a broad sense of hero shooters in general, or even shooters that you have your own operators with their own special abilities. Because above Diamond, that's when things get serious. That's when people are actually good, and not just dumb luck. Now, there is always exceptions. There are people that are in that 0.01% where they can make any character work in any comp, but it is very difficult, and I could promise you are not in that category. And even if you do make it work, your other teammates might struggle because they have to play around you. And it doesn't help that whenever you run into a one trick, they are very toxic. They're probably the most toxic people in the lobby because they're entitled to their character. You shouldn't play who you want to play. You should play around me and me only. And then I'll go 4-5. Then I'm going to go and spam GG no heals in the chat and sit and spawn for the rest of the match. These people are very annoying. They drag down the whole experience of the game because they refuse to switch. They refuse to acknowledge that they're doing bad, and instead either just blame other people or gaslight themselves into thinking that they're doing good, that they're providing value, that the stat sheet isn't showing what they're truly providing. Or they have the audacity to just blame their teammates for their wrongdoings. And GM is one thing. You can get away with one-tricking in GM. In tournaments, I don't think that's possible, because tournaments, you're going against teams that are fully coordinated. You're not going up against a bunch of randoms that are in the same skill set. You're going against people in the same skill set that are all together, and that completely changes the game. Anyways, I just wanted to find a reason to talk about one trick, something that's been bothering me for a while, and then it really ignited my interest again, seeing this whole tournament, seeing all this drama, and seeing how hard people will go to defend their one tricks. Try not to one trick. If you do one trick, don't be surprised when people get mad at you and when people flame you and when you can't rank up because of your own selfishness. I'll see you guys in the next one.